Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
Another beautiful summer-like day across Metro Detroit, but cooler temperatures and rain are in the forecast.
Major red flags appear to have been overlooked in the hiring and promotion of a Jimmy John's employee who's now accused of sexually assaulting a coworker.
And why no waiver? Some parents are frustrated over rules involving COVID testing of student athletes even after they've been vaccinated.
We're going to start with another day of concerning coronavirus numbers as the state confirms Michigan still leading the nation in case rates.
The state is reporting 8,015 new cases and 30 more deaths in the past 24 hours. In an update today, the state said Michigan's cases, hospitalizations, and deaths are all going up. Data shows it's spreading most rapidly in people ages 20 to 39, and rates are at an all-time high in children, more than quadruple what they were just a month ago.
There's still a lot of concern about youth sports. Since January, basketball, hockey, and wrestling have seen the highest number of cases. Well, today, the head of the CDC had this to say to states like Michigan.
I encourage communities to consider adjustments to meet their unique needs and circumstances. For example, in areas of substantial or high community transmission, CDC guidance specifically suggests refraining from youth sports that are not outside and cannot be conducted at least 6 feet apart. Similarly, large events should also be deferred.
There's another issue popping up involving school sports and the testing of student athletes.
The state mandating a weekly rapid antigen test for sports practices and games for children 13 to 19. And currently, that includes students who are already vaccinated, which has a lot of parents asking, shouldn't their kids be given a waiver if they're vaccinated?
Mara McDonald's been talking with parents and with the MHSAA. Mara, have we heard from the state health department, though, on this yet?
Sandra, Devin, yes, we have heard from the state health department tonight on a portion of what parents are worried about here. Namely, they're worried about antigen tests and false positives. State says that's not really an issue for vaccinated versus unvaccinated kids. But as far as the other portion of this, the waiver, not yet. Take a look.
I believe that it's putting my child at an increased risk of staying home or being quarantined and missing school, missing the SAT test.
So Carla Farwell's senior son will not be participating in track this week. He's fully vaccinated, but she's concerned about false positives on the rapid antigen tests schools are being required to give their student athletes. So much so, she called the test maker.
The reason that I have this feeling is that I have talked to makers of the antigen test that my school district uses, and they were not willing to stand behind their test. They actually told me that it was not advised for my athlete to take this.
Her solution is granting the children who have been fully vaccinated a waiver from these tests. A quick call to the Michigan High School Athletic Association today, and they say they're on board with that waiver idea. But it's not up to them. It would ultimately be a decision from the state health department. Something else that is at play in the mix here, realize there is a group of parents called Let Them Play Michigan, which is currently suing the state of Michigan over these testing requirements for student athletes, saying that they go way too far and that they are arbitrary. Devin, Sandra, back to you.
All right, Mara. Well, whether you're practicing for a school sport or just walking the dog, perfect day to be outside. I really wanted to skip work today and head to the Tigers game.
You know what? You and me both. But, Ben, we know this comes with a few strings attached.
Yeah, guys, we are going to be starting to slip into the summer storms part of this summer-like forecast in the next 24-plus hours. Storm Tracker 4 has some activity on it, but you can see a couple of those blips, especially down there in the south zone. You look just to the northeast of Tecumseh. We saw just a brief shower there. And there's a few more up there in Livingston and Genesee County. That's pretty much what we're expecting tonight. Just that off chance of a sprinkle, maybe a rumble of thunder. Definitely nothing strong or severe tonight. Tomorrow's a little bit of a different story, however. Temperatures tonight are going to slide into the 60s. Even by midnight tonight, we're still going to be above where we would typically be for a finish this time of year. So definitely on the mild side. And there's the severe risk for tomorrow. It's a marginal risk across the west, south, and parts of the metro zone. Coming up, we'll talk timing of this and how long this is going to stick around. If you want a sneak peek of the forecast, and of course the best place to track tomorrow's storms is the Local Forecasters app. Download it for free in your app store by searching WDIV. Guys?
All right, Ben. Now a Local 4 Defenders report that points to a conversation every parent needs to have with their teen as they head for their first job. A 17-year-old girl with special needs started her first job at a Jimmy John's in Sterling Heights. She says she was sexually assaulted by a coworker. We bring in Defender Sean Lay with new testimony from the manager of the store, who says she and the owners of the store knew one of their employees was a convicted sex offender. Sean.
And Devin, when she said she found out, and she says store management and ownership found out, she was sure that this guy would be fired. Part of his parole and probation, he was not allowed to be around any minors. She had a very young staff. She feared the worst, and in her words, she says the worst happened.
You swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
This is the videotaped deposition of Samantha Griffith, the manager of the Jimmy John's at 16 and Van Dyke in Sterling Heights. Jimmy John's and parent company Turner Incorporated are the focus of a lawsuit filed by the family of a 17-year-old with special needs who says she was sexually assaulted by a coworker named Jerry Brown Pegues inside the store. Griffith says at the start of the pandemic, they needed delivery drivers, and she hired Pegues. The voice you hear is the alleged victim's attorney, Ben Johnson.
Did you at all ask him whether he's ever been convicted of any crimes, but especially a felony?
No.
Griffith says she later wanted to promote Pegues to manager. Attorney Ben Johnson has this copy of his application. Griffith says it was sent right to the parent company where Pegues checked that he was a convicted felon. Griffith says she Googled Pegues and found that felony. Then in 2017, Pegues pled guilty to sexually assaulting a woman, did 2 years in prison, and was on parole. He was ordered not to be around anyone under the age of 17.
Had anybody from TSG told you that we have an absolute no felony tolerance at our workplace, meaning that we're not going to hire a convicted felon at our restaurants ever under any circumstances?
No.
It's Griffith's testimony that she alerted the parent company, that 2 teen employees complained that Pegues was making sexual comments to them at the shop. She wanted Pegues gone.
Because I felt as Jerry was a ticking time bomb at that point.
Pegues was not fired. A month and a half later, the 17-year-old girl was hired, excited for her first job. Griffith says she got a call that morning from a coworker.
He told me that he walked in on and Jerry having sex.
Did he say anything else?
No, I think because I cut him off and probably said something along the lines of, what the call the police and do not let him leave.
Back here live, police did show up at that Jimmy John's. Jerry Pegues taken right into custody. He was sent right back to prison where he is tonight because the arrest was a violation of his parole. Now, attorneys for the parent company here say they want to depose Jerry Pegues. They haven't gotten to that yet, so they have no comment on this lawsuit they're facing tonight. Back to you.
And Sean, Samantha Griffith was also asked about text messages exchanged with a supervisor after the incident.
That's right. She says she was instructed by her supervisor, in her words, to delete everything related to this incident. She said she did not follow that order.
All right, Sean.
A home inspector allegedly caught in an inappropriate act with a child's doll. Surveillance video shows 59-year-old Kevin Van Leuven with the toy there in his hand. This was inside a home in Oxford Township. It happened back on March 12th. Police tell us the homeowner allegedly saw Van Leuven on camera in the nursery acting inappropriately. The man was arrested and charged with aggravated indecent exposure and malicious destruction of property. If convicted, he faces up to 93 days in jail and a $500 fine.
Oakland County deputies rescue a baby that was left in the woods. A 4-month-old boy found near Walden and Joslyn Roads in Orion Township this morning. Deputies say the baby is in the hospital but in good condition after being found in a hypothermic state at the time. Deputies responded to 911 calls about a 37-year-old woman who callers reported to be distraught. She had been ringing doorbells and pounding on doors of a nearby school. Deputies determined the woman to be the baby's mother and are now seeking a warrant for her arrest.
Detroit police officers will not be charged in the deadly shooting of Hakeem Littleton, as the prosecutor's office says officers lawfully acted in self-defense. At a news conference today, prosecutor Kim Worthy showed pictures and video from police dash cam and also body cam video that her office used to make that decision. Littleton was shot and killed by officers last July. This was after pulling a gun and firing on police. His family and Detroit spoke after that decision was announced.
Hakeem was like my son. That's right. I cry every day because we don't even know the officer name that executed my nephew. That's right. My nephew was going places.
They're now asking Attorney General Dana Nessel to investigate.
State Representative Jewel Jones under investigation for a traffic crash along I-96 in Livingston County. Jones was arrested and taken to the Livingston County Jail after the crash last night in Fowlerville. He's since been released, and no charges have been filed at this point, but prosecutors and police say they are awaiting further test results to determine their next steps. He was charged in 2018 with having open intoxicants in his car after he was pulled over for speeding and for having illegally tinted windows, but he was not drunk, we are told, on that occasion.
Coming up, a big freeway closure in both directions that might catch some drivers off guard the next 2 weekends.
And here's Kim DeGiulio. Kim.
Mass vaccination sites have played a key role in helping us fight this pandemic. However, what happens when those lines stop filling up? I spoke with a local doctor on why this next phase of the vaccine rollout will be a crucial one.